This video is about how to configure spanning tree in COMMANDO 2000-3000 series switches using CLI. So spanning tree STP uses messaging between switches to stabilize the network into a logical loop-free topology. To specify the spanning tree operation, use the command of spanning tree mode in global configuration mode. So configure terminal spanning tree, and you can see the different mode with the mode command. So there are three modes with which this commando switch can be configured: MSTP, RSTP and STP. So when the switch is configured MSTP, it can use STP and RSTP for the backward compatibility with switches working with STP and RSTP mode individually. For RSTP configuration, the switch can also use STP for switches working in STP operation. So let us say if I want to have RSTP, then it is backward compatible to STP. MST is backward compatible to RSTP and STP. So let's configure this switch with the mode MSTP. So there are three major 802.1d STP processes or steps. So firstly, election of root bridge. The switch with the lowest bridge ID wins the root bridge. The standard bridge ID is a 2-byte priority followed by the MAC address unique to any commando switch. Then determine the switch root port. The one port on which switch with the least cost path back to the root is the root port, and determine the designated port for each segment. When the multiple switches connect to the same segment, this is the switch that forward the least cost hello on the segment. So this multiple spanning tree or IEEE 802.1s is different from STP, or it is sometimes referred to as a MISTP or multiple STP. It uses multiple instances of STP in a network that uses 802.1q trunking. The following are the main benefits of 802.1s. It is like PVST. It allows tuning of STP parameters so that while some port block for one VLAN, other port can forward on another VLAN. It always uses 802.1w RSTP for faster convergence. So convergence time, when some links goes down or some particular network component goes down, the convergence is fast. It does not require STP instances for VLAN. Rather, the best design use one STP instance per redundant path. One of the key benefits of MST versus PVST plus is that it requires only one MST instance for a group of VLANs. If MST instance had hundreds of VLAN and used PVST plus, hundreds of sets of STP message would be used. With MST, only one set of STP message is needed for each MST instance. When connecting MST region to non-MST region or to the different MST region, MST makes the entire MST region appear to be a single switch. To map the VLAN to the multiple spanning tree MST instance, with the help of commands, all VLANs that are not explicitly configured to an MST instance are mapped to the CIST instance or instance 0. For two or more switches in the same MSTP region, their VLAN mapping, name and revision number configuration must be same. So let's configure VLAN 10 and 20, 10 to 20 to a MST region 1 and VLAN 100 to MST instance 2. So firstly I will create the VLAN 10 to 20 and VLAN 100. Spanning tree MST configuration instance 1 VLAN 10 to 20, instance 2 VLAN 100. We can name the MST instance to any name. Let us say I want to name it as a test. We can define the revision MSTP configuration to 1. So revision to 1. I can verify this MST configuration with the help of command show spanning tree MST configuration. So I can see this MST configuration which I have created. BPDUs are the data messages that are exchanged across the switches within an extended LAN that uses a spanning tree protocol topology. BPDU packets contain information on the port, addresses, priorities and cost, and ensures that data end up where it is intended to go. BPDU messages are exchanged across the bridges to detect the loop in and network topology. The loops are then removed by shutting down the selected bridge interfaces and placing redundant switch port in a backup or a block state. To configure the action of BPDU handling when STP is disabled, use the command spanning tree BPDU in global configuration port. So if I want to configure the action of BPDU handling to filter when STP is disabled, so I will give the command configure terminal, then spanning tree BPDU filtering. I can enable the BPDU filter on particular interface. Let us say for G1 I want to enable the BPDU filter. So spanning tree BPDU filter. I can also enable the BPDU guard on this interface by giving the command spanning tree BPDU guard. Spanning tree cost. To configure the spanning tree cost for an interface, use the command spanning tree cost in the interface configuration modes. Cost is a port path cost. The long path cost method, the valid range is from 0 to 2 billion, and the short path cost, the valid range is from 0 to 65,535. 0 indicates auto, which port path cost is determined by the port speed and the path cost methods. So path cost method, if I select to the short, then we have to give the command spanning tree path cost method short. So there are two methods, short and long. I can also set for any interface the cost as per my requirement. Let us say spanning tree cost 30,000 for G1 interface. I can also specify the number of hops for the BPDUs to forward in an MSTP region. So let us say we want maximum hop for BPDU to be 10. So configure terminal, then spanning tree max hop 10. So after that BPDU will expire. We can also set spanning tree maximum age. This is an interval in seconds that the switch can wait without receiving the configuration message before attempting to redefine its own configuration. So let us say I want to configure STP maximum age to 10. So spanning tree maximum age to 10. To configure STP bridge forwarding delay time, this is the amount of time that a port remain in listening and learning state before it enters to the forwarding state. If I want to change the STP forward delay time to 25 seconds, so spanning tree, hello time, forward delay time 25. We can also change the hello time. Let us say I want to change to 4 seconds. So spanning tree, hello time 4 seconds. We can also enable the age mode for the interface. For let us say interface G1, if I want to make it, then spanning tree, H. We can also configure the link type to point for particular interface, or spanning tree link type, and we can also have this point to point or shared link. And we can restart the STP negotiation on the interface with the for this interface by giving the command spanning tree mcheck. So it will restart the spanning tree. Show spanning tree will show MST instances for particular ports. So spanning tree is the most crucial part for any LAN network. If spanning tree is disabled, loops can form and network will go down. So with commando switches, we can have various flavors like STP, RSTP and MSTP configured.